Hello YouTube fans. So I just wanted to do a little video, kind of like a little introduction video on kind of one of the playlists that I want to start making on my channel that's all about the military. So I'm going to give you a little bit of an introduction on who I am, what I've done, where I'm at, the places I've been stationed. It's going to be pretty detailed. I want to go into pretty much a lot of details about the military, and what they have to offer if you're thinking about joining, but also things that you can use while you're in or as you transition out and retire from the military. So it's going to be a lot of playlists, one playlist with a lot of different topics to cover about the military. So just a little introduction on me. My name is Benjamin. I'm in the Army. I joined in 2003 right after high school. I went to basic training at Fort Benning, Georgia. I've been in 19 years and 3 months. So I'm gonna retire next year. I'm less than a year out from retirement. July 31st will be my official last day in the Army. And I'll have done my 20 years. So I'll get my military retirement pay. It's not a lot, I'll tell you that. For all the sacrifices that I've made and that my family's made over the last 20 years. There's been a lot of deployments, a lot of overseas assignments, a lot of time away from my family, but I'll get into that. But so sticking to the basics, so I came in 2003, I went to basic training in Fort Benning, Georgia. I then went to AIT in two places. The first place was Redstone Arsenal, Alabama. I was there for 4 months. And then I went to Fort Bliss, Texas for another 9 months. So my total AIT time, which is advanced individual training, was 13 months long. It was really long. And I didn't know this when I joined the Army. When I first enlisted in the Army in 2002, I was 17. And I thought my AIT was 4 months long. It turned out to be 13 months. So the recruiter, he was a good guy. But I don't think he knew about my MOS. MOS is your military occupation specialty. If you go on the Army website, you can look up all the MOSs. I think there's like 230 something MOSs. Mine specifically was Patriot Missile System Repair. So that's what I came in as. It was the MOS number was 27 X-ray. It later changed to 35 Sierra and then 94 Sierra, where it's at currently. So I am a warrant officer. I transitioned from enlisted 94 Sierra to a 948 Delta, which is a warrant officer, at about the middle of my career, about 10 years, 2013. So I made that transition. I'm currently a CW3, Chief Warrant Officer 3, and I will be retiring as a CW3. Go a little bit about my assignments. So I was at Fort Benning. Then I went to Alabama, then I went to Fort Bliss, Texas, and then I had 2 years on my initial contract to go to Germany. It was part of my contract when I joined the Army in 2003. I got a $2,000 bonus, and I got my choice of assignment, which I picked Germany. At that time, my MOS was only stationed in Fort Bliss, Texas, Korea, and Germany. Only those 3 locations. So I had chose Germany, so I went there immediately after my AIT. So this is about 18 months in the military at this point, a year and a half. Went to Germany, did my time in Germany. Germany was awesome. I love the country. I'll go into a whole lot more detail about my 2 years there and what I did and the exercises and stuff that I participated in. But it was a good experience. I got promoted there to sergeant, from PFC to specialist to sergeant while I was there. After that, I went to Fort Bliss, Texas, which was one of the other locations I could go at the time. I stayed there for a while until 2008 when I got married, and I'll go into that. I was about to get out because my first contract was 5 years. I was about to get out, and they offered me Japan. And if you know anything about me, I love cars, especially import cars. I'm infatuated with import cars. I think they're the coolest thing. Ever since Fast and the Furious came out, I was in high school, middle school going into high school when the first one came out, and I was like, that's what I want to do, that's what I want to drive. All about cars from that point on. So anyway, I got married, and then I went to Japan. We had our first child in Japan. We were there for 3 years. I came back to Fort Bliss after Japan, deployed to the Middle East. I was there for a year. Then I came back, and then I went back to Fort Bliss after the deployment, and then I did my warrant officer packet while I was deployed, and then I got accepted, got chosen to become a warrant officer. Went to that school, which was in Fort Rucker, Alabama, warrant officer candidate school. And then following that, I went to my warrant officer, it's like AIT for warrant officers, it's called warrant officer basic course. I went to Fort Lee, Virginia, and then to Fort Sill. And then after I completed all this schooling, which was about 6 months, I was then assigned to Fort Sill, Oklahoma, for my first warrant officer assignment, and that was 3 years. I spent 3 years there. I deployed. Actually, I'm lying. Okay, let me go back. Before Fort Sill, I went to Fort Bragg, North Carolina. I don't know why I said Sill. I was at Sill for warrant officer basic course. Went to Fort Bragg, North Carolina for 3 years. I deployed from there back to the Middle East for a year, and then after that assignment, I went to Fort Sill, and I deployed there for another year. And then at this point, I was getting close to, 18 years, 19, 17 years. And so I was like, okay, it's about time to start thinking about getting out. I knew I wanted to get out at 20. I wanted to do my 20 and get out. I never planned on staying in the Army longer than 20. My goal was to get to staff sergeant as enlisted, and then go warrant officer, and then get to CW3. That was my goal. That's what I had, wanted to do. And I did get promoted to CW3 at Fort Sill. I'll go into all the boards and the packets and what's required if you want to go warrant officer. And then leaving Fort Sill, they put me on orders to Korea, and it was an assignment where I couldn't take my family, so I did that. And I told them I wanted to come back to Fort Sill to retire out of Fort Sill, Oklahoma area. But that fell through, like a lot of things do in the military, and anyone that's in the military or Army understands how assignments work. It's not, you don't get to choose. Most of the time they tell you do, but most of the time you don't. It's needs of the Army. Wherever they need you, that's where they're gonna put you. So I went to Korea for a year, Camp Carroll, Korea. I did that year, so that's the 4th year, if you're counting, that I was away from my family, not including the schools and all the other trainings I had to do. So anyway, after that, they gave me a follow-on assignment. I was trying to go back to Fort Sill. They gave me a follow-on assignment down in Daegu, Korea, but they said I could bring my family. It was authorized at this assignment. So family came over. They stayed here for a year, and then I hit the 19-year mark where I could submit my retirement packet. I did so. I sent my family back, and I'll go into this using the VA loan. If you want to get a VA loan when you're about to retire, you have to have at least a year left on your contract for the VA to give you a loan. If you don't have a year, you can't get the loan. So either a year of military service left on your contract, or you have another job already lined up, and that'll count as a year once you get into that job. But you have to have it guaranteed for a year out from the time you try to get the VA loan. So when we learned that, we realized, okay, well, we need to move quickly. And as you know, the market was crazy with housing in 2021 and 2020. So we bought our forever house, and so I had to move the family back, because that's another stipulation in the VA loan. Somebody has to occupy the property within 60 days of closing. So I moved my family back. They're back in the States. I'm still here in Korea. I have about 7 months left in country, and then I'll be starting my terminal leave, and I'll go into all these details for you. But that's basically where we're at now. So I want to make these videos for myself and for my family, just so we can remember what it was like, because there's a lot of good things about the military. The Army has been really good to me and my family. We've been able to accomplish a lot of schooling, a lot of cool locations, a lot of travel, a lot of things like that. But there's also a lot of downside to it also. It's not for everyone. It's taken a lot of sacrifice from myself, from my wife, from my kids, all having to pick up and move every 3 years. It's really difficult. So I'm gonna make a whole bunch of videos going from basic training all the way till now, covering hopefully as much as I can so that people can benefit. Hopefully somebody gets something out of this. But that's basically the introduction video. So thank you for watching. Subscribe and like if you want to follow me. I do post Fortnite videos here. I'm trying to post one every couple days. I enjoy playing Fortnite with the kids. That's really the reason why I play it. So I upload the videos of them playing or me playing with, you know, the kids or whatever. So that's what that's about. If you see those playlists of Fortnite videos, my channel's not about gaming. That's just something I like to do with the kids. So, but I'm gonna definitely start planning to make one of these military related videos, and also make videos of me here in Korea traveling around and trying different foods and stuff like that. So it should be a fun experience. If you want to join us, subscribe, like, follow me. More to come. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. I didn't add in the last video, I just wanted to put this little plug in there. If you have any comments or any questions about the military, anything about the military at all, about the Army, not the military, because I'm the Army, anything about the Army or Korea or anything that I mentioned in the introduction, just ask below and I'll respond. Like I said, I want these videos to be informational, to benefit people. If you have questions about housing, about getting stationed places, whatever it is, while I'm here and it's fresh in my mind, ask me, because when I get out in July, I'm going to dump everything. Try to dump everything. We'll see how that works. But anyway, I just want to add that in there. So like, subscribe, stick around. I'm going to do all kinds of stuff. I'm going to do a day in the life. I'm going to start when I wake up in the morning, day in the life. You know what that means. I'm going to do that so you can see what it's like in uniform, PT, work, after work, gym, the pain, the bathroom breaks. It's part of what it is. Sorry. All right, I'll see you guys next time.